I'm going to talk about the Mormons for a few minutes here. The Mormons are a funny bunch of people. They've been run out of everywhere they've ever settled into, which is one of the reasons they've ended up in Utah. It's a very remote area, very desolate area. They have done wonders with some of the things that they've gotten a hold of. They are resourceful people, and one-on-one, they're polite and generally regular, normal people as you would think of as normal people. Although, like many other people, once they become members of or part of a group, it's more like part of a mob, and they do like to cut individuals out. They do like to convert you to Mormonism at all costs. They have strict rules about conversion of people. They're not actually allowed to befriend you except under the pretense of conversion. And if you do not convert, then you are considered to be an aspect of reality other than Mormonism, and you're shunned or worse. I have firsthand knowledge of all this. I have firsthand experience in all this. I never understood a lot of this until I talked to some people just recently who have friends in Mormonism who are what people call Jack Mormons, more or less. They are people who embrace Mormonism, but mostly for the business connections and the money. And the Mormons have a lot of money. That's one thing that I think the Mormons are, like all other religions. They've realized the power of money and the power of the group as far as money is concerned. Now, Joseph Smith started Mormonism. His uncle and maybe two of his uncles, or maybe his uncle and his father, were actually judges or in some sort of official capacity at the Salem witch trials. This was a very spiritually volatile area and a very spiritually volatile time. Supposedly, and from the book Sinister Forces, one of the books, Sinister Forces by Peter Levenda, who's done in-depth research on the Mormons, he indicates, and other authors indicated to me, that Joseph Smith was actually using magic. Some say black magic, some say just magic, whatever. He was using magic to find treasure. He was a treasure hunter. He was looking for riches. And there's plenty of that around, so, whatever floats your boat, I suppose. I like metal detectors, although I have doused before, and I guess some people would classify that as magic. Whatever. This is how Joseph Smith supposedly came across the golden plates of Moroni, the angel that visited him, and from which the Book of Mormon is supposedly written, although these plates have never been produced, and they were supposedly returned to the age of Moroni, which is awfully close to moron, and so is Mormon, is awfully close to moron. But that's a personal opinion on my part. Brigham Young took over after Joseph Smith was killed by his followers, although Joseph Smith had embraced and actually introduced, I think it's, multiple wives, because he got caught cheating on his wife, and he, being the leader of the religion, was able to say, well, that's okay because, and that sect is still around, although they're always in big trouble. They have guys that have many wives, and this seems to, there was indication that this is where a lot of the children that are used in mind control actually end up, or actually came from. These people that are used in these experiments by the CIA. I've done a lot of studying on all this. It's very well developed, but it's very, very dirty. I'm not going to get into that right here. It's not something I care to discuss. I feel dirty just by knowing about it. But the Mormons are into all this stuff up to their necks. And Karl Rove is a Mormon in everything but name. He grew up in Salt Lake City, as far as I'm told, as far as I know. I think I mentioned before, Brigham Young, he was a real hardcore Jesus freak and money monger. He just loved his money a whole lot more than he loved Jesus, but he did give credit where credit was due. And he knows that this thing with Jesus gave him his money. There's all kinds of stories about the Mormons and the persecutions they did. They used to dress up as Indians and then waylay travelers out in the West that way that they could blame it on the Indians as your first false flag terrorism. And they're really not a good bunch of people to get involved with if you can stay away from them. Most people think of the Mormons as the Mormon Tabernacle Choir and Donnie and Marie Osmond, and this is a carefully contrived image that they have. They don't like people looking into their religion. They will send out, they are militant in their missionarism, but it's always on their terms. And one of the big things about becoming a Mormon is not telling other people until they become Mormons the secrets of the church. Now, Mitt Romney, they have some sort of prophecy that they're trying to fulfill with Mitt Romney and Glenn Beck. He is also a Mormon, a converted Mormon, and believe me, the tide of the Mormons is rising, and they believe that they are destined for greatness here in this country, although they are deathly afraid of pogrom and things like that because they have been run out of everywhere they've ever been. Once people get a whiff of Mormonism and understand it for what it truly is, it does not set well. It does not set well at all.